2024 presidential debate was just wild, guys. Regardless of what you think about that, there were some wild lines, guys. There were some great lines by both sides. We had Trump saying they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats.
Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets.
That was just wild and that was just hilarious. There is no doubt about it. We had Harris, who I think said a very positive thing for her. She said a really great line, which was that she said something like, 81 million people fired you.
Trump was fired by 81 million people. So let's be clear about that. And clearly he is having a very difficult time processing that.
That was, of course, referred to Trump because he lost the 2020 election against Biden, where Biden actually had the most votes in the history of US elections. But today's episode is not just about that because there are many great topics to talk about. I'm going to talk about the 2024 presidential debate and the presidential race as a whole. I'm going to talk about what has changed after the debate. I'm going to talk about who I think won the debate. I'm going to talk about Taylor Swift's endorsement, which is I think important because she's a very popular figure, and there has been a lot of criticism for her endorsement, and it's understandable, of course, because there are people who are not happy about that. But I'm gonna weigh in on that too. We're gonna talk about the meeting which Biden and Starmer had, and they didn't approve the usage of weapons. They didn't approve the usage of long-range Western weapons in Russia, but they're thinking about doing that, and I think it would be really dangerous, guys. That would, I would say, almost mean that you're getting into World War III. Maybe the word almost doesn't even need to be there, because literally firing long-range Western weapons in Russia would mean entering in a war with Russia. And guys, regardless of what you think about this war, regardless of which side of the political spectrum you fall on, World War III isn't something great. I just want to say that World War III isn't something great. And the constant threat of World War III under Biden's administration is the main reason, actually, as a foreigner, why I would like Trump to win. Because I don't want to, have this thought on my mind that we're on the verge of World War III. But that's just my opinion, but we're going to jump into that. We also have to talk about Trump's statement regarding a mass deportation, which he wants to do when it comes to illegal aliens. And I also want to talk about Matteo Salvini, who is the former deputy minister and the former, I'm going to read you what it is. By the way, he was an Italian politician, and now he's facing 6 years in jail for basically not allowing a Spanish ship to get into Italy. We're going to jump into that. It's a lot more complicated than it seems. We're going to talk about the cats and the dogs being eaten by the migrants. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff. But now, guys, I will leave you with the intro and let's jump into the topics. So let's start by talking about the 2024 presidential debate, guys. And I will be honest, as much as I am, we could say, a Trump fan, or as much as I want Trump to win, I think that Harris did better. I'm completely honest about it. I think Harris did a better job than Trump did. And it's actually interesting to listen to what Christie said. I'm going to play the clip. But he said, I'm going to paraphrase it to you. He was talking about how it is to prepare Trump for debates. He helped Trump in the 2016 debates with Hillary. And he says that Trump, was focused because he didn't underestimate Hillary Clinton. He thought she was smart. He thought she was a capable person, a capable woman. So she didn't underestimate her, and she took her completely seriously. And that's why he did better in those debates than in the debates with Biden 4 years afterwards. And then he also talked about, in contrast, about what Trump was doing when he was preparing for the 2020 debates with Biden. he wasn't taking him seriously, was completely underestimating Biden, and that's why that's why he did a disaster in the first 2020 debate. That's why Trump flopped completely there.
Begin with you. You've debated Donald Trump several times. What did you make of last night?
You know, it was an incredibly typical performance on his part when he's unprepared. Now, you know, I ran his debate prep in 2016 and 2020, and it was always a wrestling match, George, to try to get him to focus, to try to get him to stay disciplined. And it really was like a boxing match between us in prep. It's clear he didn't have anybody who would smack him around during prep this time, because he went out there and just did whatever the heck he wanted.
Even though Chris Wallace was a disaster, I mean, I watched some clips of that debate, and Chris Wallace should never, and I say that with utter confidence, moderate a debate again, because that was one of the worst that was one of the worst performances, if not the worst performance I've ever seen a person doing when it comes to moderating a debate. That was just horrible. That was just disgusting. Disaster after disaster. He couldn't, control the situation. He was biased. It's just a mess, guys. That debate was just a mess.
Your senators know how strongly you feel. Vote now. Make sure you, in fact, let people know you're a senator. I'm not going to answer the question because the question is radical left. Will you shut up, man?
Listen, who is on your list, Joe?
Who's on your list?
Gentlemen, I think
this is so unprecedented.
He's going to pack the court.
We have ended this segment. We're going to move on to the second segment.
That was really a productive segment, wasn't it?
But I think that, honestly, I think that Harris won. She was very prepared, and she did great. I don't think that Trump did a disaster. I mean, it wasn't his best debate, but it wasn't his worst either. He's certainly done worse than that, but he's certainly done better than that too. But honestly, my opinion is that this debate will have no impact whatsoever on the election. Now you see the polls, leaning more towards Harris than they were before the debate, but it's going to last for a couple of days, I think. After 1 week, after 10 days, the polls will be back to where they were before. That's what I think. So the debate, I think, will have no impact. I don't think it will have a lot of impact, because for the debate to have an impact, it needs to be a KO punch. It needs to be a KO like the Biden one. When Biden debated Trump on that day, and he debated so badly, that debate was influential. And I'm going to say one thing, the Democrats saved themselves with that debate. I'll tell you why. Because if the debate had been in September, if the first presidential debate had been in September, like it always is, the Democrats wouldn't have had time to replace Biden and basically would have had to go into the election with a corpse. Let's just be brutally honest, Biden would have had no chance whatsoever of defeating Trump, and it would have been a landslide. And as I said in the last video, Trump doesn't manage to appeal to new voters. Trump has his base, and if the other candidate isn't a mess, Trump doesn't appeal to new voters. That's what I think. That's what I understand, at least. That's the feeling. So the debate was not a bad one. I liked it. I enjoyed it. And I think that Harris did better than Trump. Harris did better than Trump, but she didn't destroy him. I don't think she destroyed him, and I don't think this debate will have a lot of impact. I would even argue, and you may disagree with me, that the Taylor Swift endorsement will have a bigger impact. Because Taylor Swift, you may like her, you may don't like her. I've seen people criticizing her for her endorsement of Harris. Guys, I will be brutally honest here. If I were as famous as she is, I would have done the same thing. I would have endorsed Trump, honestly. But I would have also endorsed, and I would have also encouraged my fans to go and vote for Trump. I'm honest. So she did what I would have done, but she falls on the other side of the political spectrum in this election. So I don't blame her for endorsing Vice President Harris. I think that this endorsement will have an impact.
As of right now, more than 337,000 people have clicked on her link to register to vote.
Good impact. It's not going to be decisive. I mean, I don't think it's gonna be the only thing which makes the election go in one way or the other. But Taylor Swift, one thing about Taylor Swift is that she can bring in a lot of young people, Gen Z. She can bring in Gen Z. Let's be brutally honest, because she's a very famous person, regardless of you liking her or not. I'm not a fan of her. I don't know her. I don't know what's her music. I don't listen to her music. I'm not a fan. I'm not a hater. I'm not anything in regards to her. I don't have an opinion on Taylor Swift. I'm one of the few people on earth who doesn't have an opinion on her. But being brutally honest here with you guys, I think that she can bring in a lot of voters, especially young voters. She can bring in a lot of maybe 18, 19, 20-year-old Gen Z people who will be like, well, she says Kamala is better, so I'm going to vote for her because she said so. And those are people who wouldn't have voted. Probably. Those are people who wouldn't have voted. So this endorsement is going to have a bigger impact on the election than the debate. That's my opinion. The interesting question now is, will there be another debate? Honestly, I think Trump shouldn't do another debate. Trump claims that the reason why Harris wants another debate is because when a fighter loses, he asks for a rematch. And that's true. It is true. When you lose, you ask for a rematch. It happens all the time. It happens in all sports. But in this case, I think Harris is asking for another debate because she sees that Trump won't prepare for the next debate either, because Trump wasn't prepared. Trump is very good with his instincts. Some of his best moments were because of his instincts. The Rosie O'Donnell clip.
Your Twitter account?
Only Rosie O'Donnell.
The fight after the assassination attempt in Pennsylvania. But his instincts are what lets him down in other situations. If he were just more prepared and better prepared for the debates, and if he coupled a better preparation with his instincts, I think he could destroy Kamala Harris in the debate. Because what Kamala Harris did on the stage, on the debate stage, was the best she can do. I don't think she can do more than that, to be honest. I don't think she can do more than that. Or I don't think she can do much more than that. She overperformed, if you ask me. I expected her to perform worse than that. On the other hand, Trump has more potential, but he doesn't want to prepare for the debates. So that's the reason why he doesn't prepare, like a politician would. But Trump is not a typical politician. And I think that Trump should run his campaign now, like in the 2016 style, with him being this wild card and saying those wild things, because that's what attracts the voters, more than him trying to be the boring Republican. Trump can't be the boring Republican. Trump has to be Trump. Let the man be the man. That's what's great for him. Let Trump be Trump. Let him be himself. That's its best self. Trump can't be the boring politician. Trump has to be the crazy one, the mad one. Mean tweets, all of that stuff. That's Trump, guys. Trump is not the boring, Republican, the economies, the policies. No, Trump is Trump. Trump is unique. Let's just be brutally honest here. Trump is unique. There has been nobody like him in politics. He's been the biggest underdog in the history of politics. He became the president when nobody believed he was going to become the president. And he has to be Trump. That's what I believe. He has to be Trump. And, Trump has to be Trump. Let the man be the man. Let's make this clear. Let him be the man. Coming back now to the debate, guys, because I diverted a little bit. I think that Trump shouldn't do another debate. I think Harris wants to do another debate because it can help her more. But if Trump wants to do another debate, it has to be in his conditions, under his conditions. Fox News, not with Chris Wallace, with the other folks he mentioned. It has to be under his conditions. Because the first two debates were under the Democrats' conditions. ABC and CNN. That's what the Democrats asked, and Trump accepted. The Trump campaign accepted it. So the next debate's conditions have to be chosen by Trump. Elsewhere, Trump doesn't have to do debate. Trump must not do a debate. I would go as far I would say even that he must not do another debate if it's not under his conditions. That's what I honestly believe. Because it's a risk and he shouldn't do another debate. That's just my opinion. He shouldn't do another one. Harris, on the other one, of course, wants to do another debate. On the other hand, I mispronounced that word, sorry guys. But Trump shouldn't do another debate. Now, let's talk about the election a little bit more broadly. I think, as I said, that Harris won. So let's talk about this election a little bit more broadly. I think that Trump has been fucking up big time. I'm sorry for swearing, but I think he's been fucking up big time. He's not campaigning as intensely as he should, I think. Harris is doing better in regards of that. Harris is running her campaign exceptionally. I'm not a fan of her. I think she's cringe. I don't like her. She doesn't appeal to me. But Trump is not doing well. Trump is not doing what he should do in my eyes. He's not doing what he should do. And I was reading an article from an Italian journalist who talks about the US a lot of the times. I mean, I'm not Italian, but I was reading his article. It was in English. And he talked about the fact that Trump doesn't know how to insult Harris, which is true. Trump doesn't know how to insult her. The perfect insult is the word cringe. Trump should start saying, she's just cringe. Like, for example, Harris starts saying Trump is weird.
And by the way, don't you find some of their stuff to just be plain weird?
Which is a way I'd never been called before. Because calling Trump the threat to democracy, calling him all the buzzwords they were calling him before, doesn't appeal to voters anymore. They don't care. They're like, yeah, so what? On the other hand, by calling him weird, you are diminishing his image better. And what Trump should do, guys, is call Harris cringe. Because she's cringe and fake. That's my view. That's my opinion. She's cringe and fake. And to go back to the debate, and to how I don't think this debate won't, shift a lot of things and make a lot of noise. I think that the women, I think that the people who were gonna vote. Oh my gosh, I'm stumbling, I'm mumbling. I think that the people who were gonna vote for Harris before the debate will vote for her. The people who are gonna vote for Trump before the debate will vote for him. No changes, or at least little changes, will occur after this debate. That's what I think. I don't think the debate has moved so many votes. But what Trump should do is start calling Harris cringe. Because she's the cringest and fakest candidate I've ever seen. And he should start calling her out for her laugh. She's one of the most annoying laughs with this cackling stuff. I should learn to do her cackle. But honestly, guys, the best moment of the debate was Trump's one. When he said, I'm quiet now. No, sorry, when he said, I'm talking now. If you don't mind. And he said, does that sound familiar?
Minnesota, she went out. Wait a minute, I'm talking now. If you don't mind, please. Does that sound familiar?
That moment would have been perfect if he had said, Mrs. Vice President. That would have been stunning. I would have laughed like I had never laughed in ages, because that would have been simply legendary. The Uno reverse card like you cannot imagine. That would have been something monumental. Monumental, guys. Monumental. Let's finish talking about this debate because it's getting boring. I mean, I've been talking about the debate for 20 minutes now. But, as I said, what Trump should do is start calling Harris cringe, because she is. And what Trump should have done in the debate is attack Harris' record. Attack her. The problem wasn't that he was too aggressive. He could have been even more aggressive, in my opinion. I think he should have started by calling out Harris' record. Why didn't you close the border? Why is this country a mess if you were in charge of it? Why didn't you do anything? Why? He did that in the end, but he should have started and he should have been doing that for the whole debate. Instead, he did that just in the closing statement, and that's a mistake he made. He should have been calling Harris out. It should have been, why didn't you do anything? Why didn't you close the border? Why are prices up? Why aren't you doing anything? why are you talking a lot about what you will do when you're elected, but you don't do anything now as vice president? Why are you doing that? Why aren't you doing anything? That's what he should have done from the beginning. On the other hand, Harris did what she should have done. I think she can't do more than that. She did a good job. Trump could have done better. Trump could have capitalized better. And honestly, I think the debate wasn't a bad one. It wasn't a bad one. I mean, a bad debate was the first between Biden and Trump. That was very bad, guys, in terms of quality. Because Biden was a disaster. Biden killed himself in the debate. That was the end of Biden's career. Trump wasn't exceptional either. But Biden was just so bad that at that point, his situation was simply unsalvageable. Unsalvageable, no doubt about it. Biden was gone. Biden is gone. After that debate, Biden was out of the equation, out of the election. That was simply disastrous from Biden. And another thing which Trump should have done, Trump should have attacked Harris and should have said, why did you cover up Biden's decline? There are 350 million Americans in this country, how many they are, I don't know, who are following what's going on with this country, and you have lied to all of them about Biden's decline. Excuse me, my dear, why did you lie? Why did you cover up his decline? Why did you do that? Why? Trump should have done that. Instead, he failed for debates of Harris, which were very well prepared, to be honest. So he didn't do such a good job. But he didn't do a disaster like Biden. I heard people saying, I heard Chris Wallace, unless I'm mistaken, from Fox News. I hope that I hope that I'm saying his name right. I might be confusing the guy the guy who I'm referring to. I'm talking about the guy who moderated the first debate between Trump and Biden. I hope I haven't named him wrong. I hope I haven't. Because if I did, that's a bad mistake from my side. But I'm talking about that guy. And he said, unless I'm mistaken, I'm going to maybe even play the clip, that Trump's performance was worse for him and for his campaign than Biden's performance.
Didn't think I was ever going to witness a debate as devastating as the one that you and Dana moderated back in June, where Joe Biden basically tanked his re-election campaign.
That's not true. Biden's performance threw him out of the race and destroyed him. Trump's performance, Trump is still in the game. Biden was gone. So that's a mistake.
Everything we have to do with, look, if we finally beat Medicare, we're going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either. Look.
Let's finish to talk about the debate. I've been talking about the debate for too long. But let's talk about how the debate was moderated. The debate wasn't moderated fairly. There was a bias towards Harris, and the media has been protecting Harris because, the media is left-leaning, let's be fair, and they hate Trump. I'm going to show you now a thing which says that 89% of the media coverage of Trump is negative, and 84% of the media coverage of Harris is positive. So there clearly is a bias. They fact-checked Trump 9 times and Harris 0 when she also lied, so that was unfair. When it comes to fact-checking, guys, those debates are not proper debates. Those debates are just a show. So in my opinion, you either don't fact-check at all, like they did with the CNN debate. I will give credit to the CNN moderators that they moderated the debate fairly, and they used the same way for the whole debate. They moderated the debate in the same way for the whole debate. They weren't incoherent. On the other hand, the ABC moderation wasn't as good as the CNN one. And I'm not saying this because I'm biased when it comes to I don't say this because I'm biased, but I say this because it is simply true. In my opinion, you either fact check or you don't. And the best thing is not to fact check, because the risk of coming across as biased is very, very high. So that's why I say that Trump shouldn't do another debate with any legacy media outlet, but Fox News with the people he wants to moderate the debate. Trump went in alliance then twice. Harris should do that once. 1-1. One time is Harris' choice, the other time is Trump's choice. That's the most fair it can possibly be. But honestly, if I were Trump, I wouldn't do another debate. The debates are over. That's what I would do. Let's move to the next topic, guys. I've been talking about this debate for too long. Let me know your thoughts. But now, guys, let's go to another thing which Trump said, just to finish talking about Trump in this video. Trump talked about something which is interesting. I'm going to read to you his tweet. Talked about Trump vowed and promised, I don't think he vowed, but he promised. That's what Trump says. As president, I will immediately end the migrant invasion of America. We will stop all migrants' flights and all illegal entries, suspend refugee resettlement, and return illegal migrants to their home countries, also known as remigration. That's not something which Trump wrote, but that's something which the tweet I'm reading wrote. And that's just great. That's just great, and that's a great thing. Because America and whole Europe, this account I'm reading the tweet from is called Europe Invasion. It's a great account. I honestly recommend you follow that account. Nevertheless, talk about Trump. That's a great thing. Mass deportation, illegal aliens out of the country. I'm absolutely and utterly all for it. I am completely and utterly, and I say this in this video, against illegal immigration. I'm trying to spread an hashtag on Instagram. I mean, I'm not trying to spread it, but I said on a story I posted, and I said on WhatsApp too, fuck illegal immigration. Fuck illegal immigration. Let's end illegal immigration now. Let's stop this tolerance, this political correctness. Let's stop this stupid garbage. The illegal aliens are illegal, and they should not enter a country if they're not vetted. As simple as it gets. So, great thing by Trump. Mass deportation has to be done in America. Tens of millions of illegal aliens are invading the country, and this thing has to stop. America cannot keep having all of these illegal aliens entering the country. This is an invasion. This is not anymore a cultural enrichment. This is just making society, the American society, poorer and worse. That's the belief. My stance on immigration is as strong as Trump's, if not stronger. That's what I believe. And if the legacy media in the future crucifies me for that, I couldn't care less. Next topic, guys, as we mentioned in the beginning. So the Biden and Starmer meeting, this is very concerning, guys. This is very concerning. We are on the verge of World War III. We are on the verge of World War III. Guys, this is very, very concerning. Biden and Starmer held a meeting to discuss the use of long-range Western weapons in Russia. Long-range Western weapons in Russia. This is very concerning, and Putin, of course, has responded to that.
Не о том, чтобы разрешать украинскому режиму наносить удары по России этим оружием или не разрешать. Речь идет о том, чтобы принять решение о том, что страны НАТО напрямую участвуют в военном конфликте или нет. Если это решение будет принято, это будет означать не что иное, как прямое участие стран НАТО, Соединенных Штатов, европейских стран в войне на Украине. Это их прямое участие. И это уже, конечно, существенным образом меняет саму суть, саму природу конфликта.
And these guys is a threat to the whole world, and that's one of the reasons why I want Trump to win. Guys, let me know. Are you pro-Trump or pro-Harris? I'm curious about that. As you know, and if you didn't know that, I'm going to tell it to you now. I don't insult, attack, or discriminate anybody for their political beliefs. If you support Harris for XYZ reasons, it's fine by me. No problem. Welcome to the show. Let's have a discussion. Let's debate. It's going to be nice. It's going to be interesting. But frankly, I'm not American, so I don't know about the American issues as much as you Americans know. But since Biden has taken over the US, the threats of World War III have significantly increased. With Trump, there was more peace worldwide, which is one of the main reasons why I would personally prefer Trump to be in charge of the White House and to be in the Oval Office than Harris. Because Harris is just a copy of Biden, but she's younger and she's a woman. That's the difference between Trump and Harris. That's the difference between Biden and Harris. A Harris administration is going to be very similar to a Biden administration. But by the way, let's talk about this meeting. So Biden and Starmer didn't approve the use of long-range Western weapons in Russia yet, but maybe they will. Maybe they will, and that would basically mean that NATO and Russia are in direct conflict with Russia. And this is very concerning. I want to make a general point about war as a whole. I don't like to politically comment on war as much as I like to do that on other topics and other issues. Because war is heinous, and when it comes to war, there are no numbers, there are no statistics, there are deaths. People who die. That's the problem. When it comes to war, there are people who die. Hundreds of thousands of people die. Millions of people die. And this, guys, is just downright sad. It is just sad and unacceptable. The Russian youth is suffering a lot. The Ukrainian youth is suffering a lot. And let's not forget, this is not Ukraine itself. This is not Ukraine by itself, which is fighting the war against Russia. Other Europeans are being put into this war, are being thrown into this war. And that's affecting the youths of also the neighbors of Ukraine. And this is, guys, just sad and unacceptable. I made a video which was called Stay Peaceful. Let's be peaceful here. Let's love each other. Let's say what the Bible does. Love never fails. I believe in Christ. I believe in the Bible. The Bible is the best book ever written. I don't know if we can consider it a book because it was not written by humans only. There is also the touch of God. There is divine intervention when it comes to the Bible, so it cannot be considered a book, or at least it cannot be compared with the other books. It's not fair. It's just superior. But the Bible is excellent, and love, not the Bible. But love never fails. That's just as true as it gets. Love never fails. We should all be for love and peace. But this constant threat of World War III, I guess, is just concerning, and I hope that Trump gets into office and does something. If there is somebody who can prevent World War III and can avoid World War III, it is Trump. It is Trump. I think it is him. Because Biden is a warmonger. It's just war after war since he's gotten into office. This Russia-Ukraine stuff started also because Putin invaded Ukraine, but certainly the incentive was also caused by Biden because, Putin saw this guy is weak. We are getting into Ukraine. We can do this now. With Trump, he couldn't do that now because Trump was controlling the situation, if that makes sense. I just hope that NATO doesn't go to war with Russia. Let's hope that NATO doesn't go to war with Russia, because that would be disastrous for the world. And what's really sad is that political interests and oil are more important than human lives, because there was war. Now, I don't know anything about the war, but let's analyze very simply the reason why this war is being fought. Ukraine is a very rich territory, very, very rich territory. There is a lot. Ukraine is the #1 producer of bread in Europe, so that's a hell of an achievement. And Ukraine is just a rich territory in terms of natural resources. And Russia and NATO, the US and the European Union, more or less, we could say, are fighting for that. And it's so sad that we live in a world which is so corrupt and so disgusting that we have world leaders which are fighting and killing the youths and killing young men, young women, and leaving children parentless because of oil. This is just sad. Regardless of you being Russia, regardless of you being pro-Russia, regardless of you being pro-Ukraine, we just all have to agree on this. This is just sad and this is just unacceptable. humans are still pieces of shit in the 21st century in that regard. Destroying the youth of countries, killing people, leaving women and children by themselves, leaving men by themselves because of political interests, because of economic interests. This is just sad, and this has to be called out. I'm so tired of hearing those debates. Russia, Ukraine, Israel, Palestine, Iran. Let's talk about the lives who are dead. Let's talk about that. That's the interesting topic. Let's stop for a second talking about Russia, Ukraine, who's right, who's wrong, Putin, Zelensky, Biden. Let's talk about the fact that hundreds of thousands of lives are killed. Hundreds of thousands of lives are gone. Let's talk about this. Rather than who does what, is Russia right, is Ukraine right, is Russia wrong. Let's talk about the fact that lives are dying, and let's stop taking advantage so much of these wars to get views on the internet, and let's spread peace all around the world. That's my message. That's my message. I'm not siding with any team. I'm not siding with any team. I won't say whether I'm pro-Israel or pro-Palestine because I don't have an opinion and because I don't wanna have an opinion. I am pro-peace. Let's all be peaceful. Let's all be peaceful. That's my message, guys. That's my message. And let's move on now to the next topic. Now, the last topic of the video, let's talk about Matteo Salvini, the former Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of the Interior of Italy. He took that role, he was in charge of those two roles, if that makes sense, from, unless I'm mistaken, June or July 2018 and September 2019. In that year and 1 month, and he's risking 6 years in jail for protecting Italy. Guys, I am not a fan of him. I will be completely honest with you. I don't know much about him, but I'm not a fan of Salvini. I mean, I'm not even Italian, so I'm European. I'm not gonna tell you any more than that. I don't know much about Salvini. I don't know much about the politicians of my country because I don't really care a lot. I'm just caring about the American election for XYZ reasons. But throwing or threatening to throw a person 6 years in jail because he is defending the borders of a country is unacceptable. It's unacceptable, absolutely unacceptable, and I stand with him. I stand with the guy, honestly. I'm not a fan of him. I will be completely honest. But regardless of me being a fan of him, it could have been any other guy. It could have been any other Italian politician. I would have been on their side if they had been attacked with this thing. You shouldn't go to jail for 6 years for not allowing a Spanish ship with 164 aliens, illegal aliens, to get into the country. And as I said, I'm going to make my stance on immigration clear. I am against illegal immigration. No more illegal immigration, and I will even go as far as this. If they keep sending, the thing is, illegal aliens, illegal immigration is a big problem in Europe, in Western Europe, let's say in the developed part of Europe and in America. It's a big problem. All of this political correctness, all of this tolerance, all of this garbage should and must end. No more illegal immigration. If you are an illegal immigrant, you go back to your country. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. That's how it should work, in my opinion. That's my opinion. If you disagree with that, fine, write in the comments. But this is my opinion. No more illegal aliens. No more illegal immigration. We should stop this illegal immigration stuff. We should get it solved and we should control this thing. We cannot allow millions, thousands of illegal immigrants to get into the country. Each country has to defend its border. Each country. And the Italian constitution, precisely the Article 42, says, I'm going to read it to you because it's written here, says that the defense of the homeland is a sacred duty for every citizen. Defending your borders, it's a duty for every citizen. And that's what he was doing. And in this case, I am on his side. I side with former Minister of Interior, Matteo Salvini. I side with him in this case. I am on his side in this case. I don't like him politically. I don't like any Italian politician. They're boring and dull. I don't know any of them. I don't like Salvini either. But, to be honest, I am on his side in this particular case. And when it comes to illegal immigration, we should stop this political correctness garbage. We should stop, immigration, illegal immigration is used as a Trojan horse, I think. That's the truth. They use it as a Trojan horse. Oh, but it's criminal not to allow these poor people. I am sad they are poor. And I'm one of the most sensible people on earth. But if you are an illegal immigrant and if I am in charge of my country, I have to defend the borders of my country. I cannot allow hundreds of thousands of illegal aliens to pour into my country and commit endless crimes. I cannot allow that to happen. I have to defend the citizens of my country before. And this is not racism. This is not Islamophobia. This is not any of those buzzwords. This is common sense. This is common sense, guys. And we finish on a high note. We finish with that. Let me know your thoughts about all the topics we discussed today. Thank you very much, folks. See you in the third episode of the show. And I want to thank you personally for the huge support in the Harris-Trump debate, which was the cringiest video I've ever made. None of the imitations was good, but it was fun. You enjoyed it, and I'm very happy for that. Please subscribe, consider subscribing, consider hitting the like button and share the video. That would be really nice, and that helps the channel grow. Let's get to 100 subscribers by my birthday, which happens to be on the 30th of September. Folks, see you with the third episode in this week. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye. Breaking news, guys. Another assassination attempt on Trump, on former President Trump's life. This is getting completely out of hand. The situation is getting worse and worse in regards to divisiveness and in regards to political violence, polarization in America. This is just getting worse and worse as time goes on. We know details about it, and I will read you some details about it, but I just want to look at the situation more broadly. I just want to do a more broadly analysis about what's going on here with all of these assassination attempts on President Trump's life. This is the second assassination attempt on Trump in a little over 2 months. Guys, now I want to play you a clip of me predicting attempts to kill Trump a little before the first attempt to kill him occurred in Butler, Pennsylvania. The video was recorded, unless I'm mistaken, on the 2nd of July. Let's take a look at this. That former President Donald J. Trump will be assassinated. And this sounds crazy, but this is an idea I have.
And that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
So as you saw, I predicted Trump's assassination attempts. I said that Trump is gonna get killed. That's what I said, and I still stand by that. Unfortunately, I think that they're gonna try as hard as they can to assassinate Trump. And when I say they, guys, I mean the opposition. That's what I mean, because I think it's clear that there is somebody who's pushing those lone wolves to try to kill the former president, because there is no other explanation than that. Now the shooter, the person who, luckily he didn't manage to hit Trump, nor to fire any bullet, because Secret Service spotted him before and spotted him in advance this time, luckily. But this is getting out of hand, guys. President Trump's life is at stake, is at risk, and, if Trump were to get killed, I don't know how the election would go. I will be honest, I don't know how the election would go, because it's true, Republicans would replace Trump with a worse candidate, with either JD, who hasn't managed to win over any vote, or maybe, Florida governor, DeSantis. But regardless of that, I think that there would be, some sort of support for the Republican Party, because their nominee would be killed in that circumstance. Before that we jump into the details, guys, I want to talk about this situation more broadly. Despite the poll being on Harris' side, despite everyone and everybody and everything, well, not everyone and everybody, but despite the polls, despite also professors Lichman, maybe I mispronounced his name, I don't know, maybe I said his name wrong, I don't care, but you know what I refer to. Despite him predicting Harris win in November, despite multiple pollsters predicting Harris win in November, this election is still tight at the very least, if not Trump is leading. Because if you're sure that you're gonna beat your opponent, you won't try to take him off the ballot like they're doing. What you will do is let him play and let him stay and let him lose. So the fact that they are trying to assassinate Trump, they have tried to assassinate Trump twice, and they will keep trying to assassinate him. Let's just be brutally honest, and let's just be as perceptive as possible. The most probable outcome is that they try to kill Trump again. And all of this is happening, I think, because the Democrats, not the people who vote Democrat, because it's not their fault, but the people at the highest echelons of society, let's put it in that way, the deep state, let's call it in that way, is afraid that Trump will win. It is afraid that Trump will win. Because they wouldn't do what they're doing if they weren't afraid that Trump would win. That's the truth. That's what I think. So from this is another piece of evidence which shows us that the race is at the very least tight. If not, Trump is leading. The reason why they have such a vested interest in trying to assassinate Trump is because he is a threat, not to democracy, but he is a threat to Harris win. He can win the election. It's 50-50. He can win the election. He absolutely and utterly can win this election. Because if he couldn't win the election, they wouldn't try to kill him. That's just a broader analysis about the election as a whole, and that's just what I think is true. But I want to send a message to all Americans, and actually probably I'm not going to jump into what happened with the assassination. We're going to find out in the next days, but more or less there was this lone wolf who had an AK-47. That's what some reports were saying, but maybe he had another gun or another rifle. Maybe he had another rifle, I don't know, but he had a rifle, he had a gun, 300 to 500 yards away from the former president. And, this guy was very pro-Ukraine, unless I'm mistaken, he fought like 8 months in Ukraine or something like that. He had a Biden-Harris sticker attached on his car. So yeah, he voted Trump in 2016, but now he turned to Trump, if that makes sense. He turned on Trump, like also the other would-be assassin of Trump did. He was a Republican, he was a registered Republican, but he had donated, unless I'm mistaken, something like $100 or less, but he had donated something to either Harris or Biden. So maybe he was a Republican. Yes, he was registered as a Republican, but he had donated money to the Democratic nominee, whoever they were at the time, or to a Democrat. So yeah, probably, the guy who tried to kill Trump first was more left-leaning, if that makes sense, in the same case with this guy. No, with this guy it's different, because this guy was pro-Haley and Ramaswamy, who are two Republican candidates. So that's not true. However, he didn't like Trump. He tried to kill Trump, probably because he was afraid that, Trump would have let Russia win the war against Ukraine. So that was his biggest fear, probably. But, I think that this is an inside job. And I'm just trying to be as perceptive I'm just trying to analyze the whole chessboard. And this is too suspicious. Too suspicious. Absolutely too suspicious. There are multiple attempts and constant attempts on Trump's life, and there are going to be more. Trump, at this moment, has to get private security. He sure already has private security. He has to get more people, more snipers, and people afar. Maybe have people 500-600 yards away from him who, check and control that nobody with a gun is in sight and is close to the president. That's what Trump should do, I think. Because Trump cannot risk so much. This is the second assassination attempt in 2 months. This is getting out of hand, and political violence and divisiveness, I think you say, has gotten out of hand in the USA. I don't live there, so I don't see it with my own eyes, but I feel it, and I understand that there is a lot of political division, and this is a disease which the US has to heal from. There is too much violence around, and I'm gonna make a video probably, and I'm gonna go further down the rabbit hole and analyze why there is so much political violence and so much divisiveness in the US. I don't know the exact reasons. I read some things saying that this was Ronald Reagan, the 44th, I guess, President of the United States. I don't remember, or 40 or 40th or 39th. I don't remember which president of the United States Ronald Reagan was, but there were people saying that it was him, because he did something in 1984 or in one of those years. I read something like that, but I'm gonna go further down the rabbit hole in one video and analyze why there is so much political divisiveness and so much, polarization in American politics. I wanna end this video with a high note, and I wanna play you a clip of Tulsi Gabbard talking about the Trump assassination attempt and why this has unfolded. And I want you to pay close attention to this, because this video is just pure gold. This video is just spot on. It is completely naturally spot on, and it is the truest video you will ever watch. What Tulsi says here is completely correct, and it is completely spot on. And this is a speech, and this is a clip, and this is a 2-minute video which people have to listen to, because this is what is going on, and we have to stop this. Stay peaceful, as I said in one of my last videos. Don't be violent, don't turn on violence. Always love the next one, as Jesus Christ taught us. Love never fails. And now, guys, let's watch closely what Tulsi Gabbard says, and let's pay attention to what she says, because it is very wise and very pertinent in today's political scenario in the USA.
About something else. He also made a pretty serious allegation saying that he took a bullet to the head because of the way Democrats, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, have been talking about him, saying that he's a threat to democracy. You're a former Democrat. Do you think that Democrats are to blame, at least in part, for that assassination attempt? And remember, the FBI says they don't know what the motive was in that attack.
There is no doubt in my mind that those who use such insightful rhetoric as calling Donald Trump the same as our modern day Hitler, not once, not twice, but year after year after year after year, it doesn't take it shouldn't take an FBI investigator to add 1 + 1 = 2. People always say, well, what would you have done if you were in a position where you could have stopped Hitler back during World War II? To think that any person watching them call Donald Trump today's modern day Hitler wouldn't take it upon themselves to say, hey, maybe I should be that hero to go and take out this man who these people I see on television, who these powerful people in Washington are saying is our modern day Hitler, then you're not actually living in the real world. There are consequences to using that dangerous, insightful rhetoric, and it would not surprise me to know that